see how many more interruptions I get. Okay. You guys. Anyway, here's something that you should know about me. I never let the truth get in the way of a good story. So what does that mean? It means I can exaggerate to really emphasize a story or to get a point home. Yeah, that's a running joke in our family because I love to exaggerate, and my mum and dad say the same thing of me as well. Facebook Marketplace scammers. Maybe it's a taboo subject? I don't think so. I had a recent experience, and in this video I'm going to talk about that experience and how I pivoted. Again, this is just something else that's not being talked about. Try and do things differently to be able to sell pieces on Facebook, just to sell pieces that I make over each week. You guys see me do it every single week. A week ago, I posted this piece on Facebook Marketplace. Within 10 minutes, probably not even that, but you know, let's be generous. Within 10 minutes, I had already started getting a steady stream of scammers. If you aren't familiar with Facebook, you are able to tell whether the person contacting you through Facebook Messenger is a legitimate Facebook user or is a scammer. The way in which you do that is you tap on their name in the message and then you hit view their profile. If all you see is the photo, and you can tell it's a stolen photo because of the it's pixelated. I do have to do a couple of little repairs. So these push all the way back in. I need to put a block on the back so they only go in that far. And this one. So right here is a little split, so I am going to glue that back together. There is a nail sticking out here, so I need to tap that back in. That's holding the bottom drawer in. Also have to just glue that back, clean it all up, and this guy as well right here needs some gluing. But other than that, I'm not going to be touching the hardware. Original to the piece. My friend really likes the hardware, so I'm going to keep it that way. One of the things between the drawers is needs a little glue and tightening too, so I'm gonna get to that. After posting this thing, I got inundated with scammers. I don't answer them, delete and block and all that, or just block and then delete the conversation. It was something close to, I'd have to say, about 50. This could be that moment where I'm exaggerating to tell a story, but close to 50 scammers for this piece alone. Alright, so before I start anything, I need to see. Looks like somewhere between a 2 1/4 and 2 1/2. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. I have an old block of wood and it is about 2 1/2 wide. We'll see if it's gonna work. You can see it's sticking up there. No. The drawer is just sticking out just a smidge too much. Okay, cut the blocks. hair off of it. That'll be right. See? Now it doesn't push. I just have to glue it and nail gun it. The next day I posted the piece that I did for the high-end dupe challenge. That was a really huge challenge. Well, I posted that piece for sale because I didn't need it anymore, and I just wanted to move it. I wanted to move it on, so I posted it for only $200. And I kid you not, I got close to 100 scammers. Alright, so cut bits for there, and do it this way. Actually, do it that way. You know what? It doesn't matter what way I do it, because what matters is when I put the drawer in. See? Right there. Nice and flush. Alright, now I'm gonna glue it and staple it. In the middle of getting those scams, I think I maybe got a handful, less than a handful, of people who were legitimately, were real people inquiring about it, but they didn't seem to be serious buyers because nobody was messaging me back. My anxiety level was rising. At this point, I'd had 2 days solid of scammers reaching out to me, giving me their numbers, asking me for my own number, and it was overwhelming. You know, I turned to my husband and I said, am I on some sort of blacklist where only scammers contact me? If none of you have had dealings with scammers, which I doubt that there's anybody who sells on Facebook who hasn't had a dealing with a scammer. They contact you, express interest, say they can come and pick it up straight away, and then they give you their phone number and ask you to call them. Guys, I mean, you're grown, you do whatever you want, but my advice to you would be, do not contact. Do not call. No matter how desperate you are to sell that piece, don't call the person. That's where I stand on that issue. Yay. I always hold my breath whenever I use my staple gun. I don't know why. Somebody was interested in the high-end dupe piece. They reached out to me, they asked for my Venmo information, and you know, by this time, like I'd said, my anxiety levels were through the roof, and I was not feeling calm about this person, and they sent me their money through Venmo, which was totally fine. It was feeling legitimate, kind of, and then they gave me their phone number and asked me for a friend request. I panicked, completely panicked. Contacted Venmo and asked them to refund the person their money. I just wanted to give them back their money and run, basically. So Venmo did, they returned the money back to the person. It turns out, actually, that the person was a real person, but I had mistakenly, because they'd given me their phone number and friend requested me and asked me for my phone number, I completely overreacted. I was already in panic mode, then I overreacted. And then I've hurt their feelings, right? They couldn't understand, they were confused, and said some things that weren't very nice. That was the end of that. They received their refund back and obviously weren't interested in the sale anymore, which is totally fine. It was not a great experience, you guys. I needed breathing room to think about, what do I do now? I haven't sold anything in like 5 weeks and need a sale. That coupled with, you know, being contacted by scammers, I was very anxious about it all. So I withdrew everything, all my listings. These are all tight. These are good. The top is good. Middle. This is good. To make a long story really short, I found a new boutique in my area for home decor. I went in, chatted to the owner, and I ended up putting a couple of my pieces in her store to sell. They haven't sold yet, but they're there getting people's eyes on it. So I felt like instead of putting all my eggs in one Facebook Marketplace basket, I'm spreading out my eggs, if you will. This is a stupid analogy. Anyway, I have things in her store to sell, and I also ended up reposting things to Facebook. Facebook has calmed way down, thank you Lord, because it was crazy. I'm still getting Facebook Marketplace scammers, but not like I was. One thing I did do with Facebook Marketplace is I posted my pieces to groups outside of my area. Okay, so further away, like in more affluent areas like Franklin or Brentwood, or down sort of in the Murfreesboro area and that sort of thing. I had requested if I could be a part of groups, that selling groups in those areas. Sometimes group admins will let you post even though you don't live in that area, and other times they don't, but what's the harm in asking? So I post to some areas that are a bit further away from me, but if it helps me get a sale, great. A majority of my sales are coming from Facebook. Another way in which I pivoted to try and help me gain sales was posting my things on my website. I'm also, in the new year, as well as my furniture, I'm going to be posting home decor. You see me remove a lot of the old dated hardware. It's not something I want to use on my pieces, but it might appeal to somebody else. So I'm going to be putting my hardware up on my website for sale as well. I have posted things on Craigslist, and I've also tried a local app called Nextdoor. I have not had any luck there, but you know what guys, I am just trying all things to see if I can get sales. I also have shipping available on my website, but again, I have not had any sales other than Facebook Marketplace at the moment. I needed the break. I needed my headspace to be cleared, and removing everything from Facebook helped me do that. And then I was able to pivot and make some changes that, you know, hope maybe in the long run will be beneficial to my business. Well, you guys, it's been weeks since the beginning of this video to now. I don't do these kinds of videos very often, but I felt like it was something that needed to be talked about. I hope you enjoyed my story, you enjoyed my little makeover. The makeover was for a friend who was having her 6th baby. She already had a lot of things, didn't need a lot. A piece of furniture was something that I could help her with. We found this piece, she loved it as it was, so I just repaired it, cleaned it, took some glamour shots of it, and she came and picked it up. Her little one has arrived and it's in the room and looks gorgeous. If you have made it all the way through this video and would like to watch another restoration video, I'm gonna post that here. Love you to bits, and I'll see you next week.